Episode 9, recording at the Nextgen studio, where some of the best ping pong in the world is played.
And we added shuffleboard.
And shuffleboard now. Boss toss, cornhole.
Need to get to where we have enough for a decathlon.
Yeah. There we go. We got a dartboard. We just haven't put it up yet. Now everyone's probably listening to this thinking we don't work at all. Sometimes.
Anyway, let's talk some Pivot Bio.
Yeah, wanted to talk more about Pivot Bio again. I think really what I wanted to focus on today with Pivot Bio was kind of our past experiences with, okay, where can we replace nitrogen, how much, given the form of nitrogen we're cutting out, and just how guys can, make Pivot Bio a part of their nitrogen program.
Yeah, because we've dealt with it the last 5 years.
6 now.
6, dang. Well, I mean, it's just there's so many misconceptions around it, and I guess you could say from other competitors as well, saying they have the same thing. It doesn't work. We tried it here and saw nothing, but there's so much more than that, and a lot of it goes to stewardship and what you're trying to accomplish. And really, at the end of the day, it's nitrogen. So I guess you could say it's technically a biological, but there's an actual specific purpose for it. And if you're not cutting back what it's supplying you, you might as well go dump another 40 pounds on your corn and see if it works. I mean, really, essentially, that's what what it is.
I've heard some of these guys just on podcasts that are out east and only know I-State farming, mention those guys probably shouldn't even be farming out there because, they're using all the water or, drying up the aquifer just to farm. And, what we've seen, talking with farmers and dealers all over the country at these different ag meetings we get to go to. And it's like, actually, our farmers out here are way better farmers than out east where they can, have high organic matter soils and get 30, 35, 40 even inches of rain in season. And, we're just forced to be better farmers out here.
Yeah, I mean, they have to be. You have to control what you can control, and that's kind of like what we talked about last episode with your, with split applying your nitrogen. I mean, obviously irrigation gives you that ability to do things like that, but it's kind of crazy when, like you said, when we go talk to other people, it's like, oh yeah, I don't know, only a third of my growers have starter set up on their planters. It's like, what? Like, that's crazy. Everybody has ran starter here forever. But they figured out that it pays. But it's and maybe just being in these conditions. It's forced guys in certain areas to become better farmers. And just how the times are. I mean, we're getting a little off track, but there's a lot of guys that, well, it used to be there was more producers farming less acres, which they couldn't cover it. But you talk to a lot of people. Oh yeah, I grew up on a farm. But then, they're when they have kids, maybe there's not enough to support the family, so they, their kids go off and pursue other careers. Eventually, those landlords, those farmers retire and become landlords, and now that cycle has just been, it just keeps going, and now there's fewer farmers farming about the same amount of acres. But that being said, there's a lot of guys renting ground now, and so your cost of production is higher. And like we talked about, your cost per bushel is not good compared to the price. And I mean, it's definitely those, everyone's kind of competing for land, to farm ground, and make sure in this area. I mean, it's harder to produce those bushels. So you have to become more efficient in the end. And so.
Right. Well, and it is kind of funny too, because I feel like in some sense, when it comes to newer or even some of these more progressive, farming methods. It's like I just feel like we're 20 years ahead of a lot of the, people out east, and especially you go, east of Nebraska and Kansas, and you get into the I states where they raise a ton of corn, but they're farming the same way they've been for 30 years, and like you mentioned, they don't even have only 30% of farmers have starter fertilizer, and that's one thing in our area that we've done for 30 years, and like we've had starter, and now I would say we're just our kind of in the tri-state area, western Kansas, western Nebraska, and northeast Colorado. I'd say we're probably close to 75%. Not only have starter, but also have in furrow now.
Yeah.
I think one of the important things too is that we're not mining soil. What we're doing is we're getting more of those dollar invested to actually get into the plant, and we've seen this with just years and years of co-op recommendations of, yep, let's throw 20 gallon of 1034 in the strip till. And our P1 on our soil samples never changes, but our P2 on a lot of these fields that, that I'm an agronomist for now, that P2 would just slowly climb. And we've seen it with manure too. And I love manure. I mean, I'm still convinced manure is the best form of fertilizer there is.
I won't argue.
But there also comes a time where when that plant needs a nutrient, it's got to be able to access it in the soil. You've got to be able to get that nutrient into the plant. And now we're in a pretty tough ag economic time right now. I mean, we've got less than $4 corn, maybe a little over $4 depending on the basis. And if we're going to be throwing 60 to 80 pounds of phosphorus out there, that you need to make sure it's getting into the plant, because you got to have a good ROI on that fertilizer investment. And that's one of the things that in your research that AgroLiquid has always been really focused on. It's like not just can we get 2 or 3 bushel bumps, because if you apply enough of something, whatever type of product it is, you're going to be able to get a yield increase. But can you do it economically? Can you do it and still make more money, put more money back in that farmer's pocket? And that's really what AgroLiquid is focused on with that research farm, which is now over 1,000 acres.
Yeah, we've got 1,100 acres, I believe. We're acquiring land. It seems like yearly at this point, but 1,100 acres, and then we've got, as I mentioned, Irrigation Research Foundation just right down the road. We've got several contract researchers that we've worked with over the years on different projects scattered throughout the United States, and we do a lot of farmer trials. I mean, Paul, you've done several trials for us over the years too, just on different farmers down there around Chad Gottes's old place. We used to go do walk fields and see. I mean, you had all kinds of different things going on out there. So we value those guys that are constantly looking to see what we can do and do differently and create successes.
Meet Nutrique from AgroLiquid, the smart nutrient choice for growers. AgroLiquid's exclusive technology brings you precision crop nutrition with peak performance. Nutrique is the proven choice for crops. Backed by nearly 40 years of AgroLiquid research, our Nutrique technology caters to your unique crop nutrition needs and soil composition. Nutrique ensures the availability of nutrients, the synergy between primary and secondary nutrients, and the use of high-quality materials. Altogether, this approach is what makes peak performance possible. So what does peak performance look like? It means maximum nutrient utilization with maximum efficiency, enhanced plant absorption with controlled amounts released at precise times, and overall ease of use, allowing you to spend less time in the field and use less product overall. Nutrique from AgroLiquid, the smart choice for growers.
I think that's the best way to put this mindset of we've plateaued. It's not that we've plateaued, but we've reached the peak of where we can go with the old technologies, with the old products, the old chemistries. And so with these new modes of actions, or with herbicides and fungicides, or maybe these different chelations of products or different charge balances, creating. I guess that's what makes me excited to get up and go to work every morning, is knowing that I can be a part of something truly bigger than myself, or even my small business. It's like, how can I help push ag in the right direction, even if it is just for a couple county reach that I have.
We all have to start small, and we can't have the bystander effect. We can't just allow someone else to do it. We can't sit idly by. We need to be the loudest force into this, because when you look at it, agriculture has the most land of anything anybody else. We control what's going on. We can make a difference, but it's not, it has to become, hey, what can I do on my farm because it's meaningful to me and also my neighbor. Like, we have to get back to that holistic view and that working together inside of this. I truly believe we have all the products that we need right now to excel agriculture. But now we have to go back to the concepts of general agronomy, agriculture. What did we learn? What did we learn that went bad? But then also, where can we go in the future? So it's not about how much more new technology can we spin up and get it fast and accelerate all this kind of stuff. And then I truly believe farmers deal with more chaos and more confusion than any other marketplace that's out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of buzz going on right now.
It's just constant. I don't blame anybody, any of these growers, for not understanding what's going on. So what happens in chaos? You got to go back to what you can control. And what you can control is what seed you're putting in the ground, as in type, how many times you go across the field. All of these kind of different things, that's what you can control. And then we can make profitability work from there with it. That's the only way to control chaos, is go back to the beginning, back to the basics of things, and think of things as controllable versus uncontrollable.
I think a lot of times, especially in ag, with a lot of these different companies, they just want to come up and say, "Here's my product. It works. You should really use it." And it's like, well, don't you need to know a few things about their farm or their management practices? Because that's one of the biggest things I've learned, is that one product might fit on one person's management, or maybe even one field under their management. But it's very rarely is that one product going to be the right fit for absolutely everybody I ever talk to.
Yes, that's exactly right. And to kind of put a plug for Redox, that's how we talk. We want the knowledge of the farm first. Then we want to figure out where is the biggest spend that's there. Where are the economics? Or maybe logistics. Maybe I got farms spread out 75 miles and I just simply cannot get enough nitrogen on. Okay, there's an opportunity. Let's look at it as the positive side of this. Let's figure out what we can do in that situation. And it may not be with a Redox product. It may be with other things that are there. We want to be more of a consultant base, but we also have the tools that are specifically made for specific needs per crop, per farm, per operation that's there.
Nextgen Fertilizers is introducing Seedlink, the game-changing planter box product that's revolutionizing corn planter box products. Seedlink delivers uniform emergence like never before, so every seed gets the perfect start. It's packed with phosphorus, humic and fulvic acids, amino acids, and beneficial biology. And the best part, Seedlink is half the cost of most of the other competitive products, even with more in it. We're not just applying biology here, we're actually applying biology with a food source. Use Seedlink on your corn today and get better emergence, better results, and all for a better price.
Maybe 1st of September would be, any application, fertilizer applications, any herbicide, insecticide applications, things of that nature. But as a channel partner, we take care of that for the grower. We have to collect it from them. With my John Deere and Climate, it's pretty easy to do. Yeah. So, it's a pretty seamless process. And so once we have that, I think the final deadline is roughly around that December 1st to 15th timeline, where we got to have everything in. And then they run these numbers through their algorithms and spit out a CI score, and depending on that, they will give you a payment per acre. So they cap it. So couple years ago was $25 an acre. Last year was like 23. I think this year for corn is like 22.30, something like that. And wheat's a little lower, and alfalfa I think around 17.50 is the top. But the more things you do and can evidence or support that you did it, the higher score you're going to get. And a lot of that, like I said, is no-till, split applying fertilizer. Not way over applying fertilizer. That's using biologicals, variable rating. That's really going to help your case. And that's what we've seen with a lot of guys that have done, or manure. But the manure has to be, they don't count it for multiple years. It has to be applied that year, which is kind of a weird rule. But so yeah, I mean that's kind of what factors into that score. But the the great thing about this program is most guys aren't. It's not like they're changing anything, and we've kind of touched on that before. It's really just, hey, you already did it. You have it. You have it in your monitor. You have it recorded. They want it. Like let's get paid for it. And just this last year, so we did basically half with us and half with Sound. We paid our customers a little over 400,000 last year between everybody, and that helped. We had a bigger acre allotment last year, and not saying that we won't get more this year, but um, it does get capped. I mean, there's nothing we can really do about that. I mean, it just depends on their, who their end buyer is.
Right. Yeah. So in a down year on their end, like they just get fewer purchasers who maybe want to just make a smaller commitment. So that's, when they came to us this year in 2026 in the spring, it was, our acres were less than what they were in 2025, unfortunately.
Way less.
Yes, we're capped out right now. And
we went from 20,000 to 3,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
On corn silage.
Right. Yep. So, I mean, with that, that's just part of it.
Yeah.
But we have everything spoken for, for 2026 so far. But actually, last year, they did give us a couple late summer increases in acres. If they're able to sell more, I mean, they're not done selling. They're going to keep looking for opportunities of people that want to, make that commitment in regenerative sustainable agriculture practices. So as they find more, we might get more acres for our territory. So right now we kind of have a waiting list, but if this is something you're interested in, reach out to Samurai. And it varies by the state too. I mean, a lot of times our primary, acres come from Colorado, but they did give us a little bit in Nebraska and Kansas this year too. So, or I think Kansas. Did they give us Kansas?
Oh no,
or
no Kansas.
No Kansas.
Nope. It was some alfalfa, Colorado alfalfa, corn silage in Colorado, and then Nebraska winter wheat. Yeah, I mean, I think it was even October last year.
Yeah,
like it was late. It was just like, hey, is there any way you could find somebody? Like, yeah, we'll try. I mean, it's corn around here is not hard to find. A lot of guys did wet corn. I mean, that, once we found that out, it's like, yeah, that opens up a whole new demographic there.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, if this is a program you're interested in participating in, like I said, reach out to Samurai so we can get you on the waiting list. Yeah, we never really know when we're going to have more acres available, but it's something really easy, and honestly, it's just something Nextgen does for our customers. Like we've even done it for non-customers. If our customers can't fill those allotments, then we keep looking to fill them because when all is said and done, like you mentioned, we're kind of the perfect partner for it because we have the data and we understand how to enter everything, and we understand what they're looking for to incentivize. So a lot of times that, just the way we enter stuff can help maximize that payment per acre. And then, it's really just been something that we've both with the Pivot Bio Innovator program when it existed, and now with this program, it's just something that we like to do to help guys out and continue to be that partner more than just a fertilizer sales company.
Yeah. And it's not much to move the needle, a bunch, but I mean, in a year like this, I mean, $20 an acre is $20 an acre. I mean, and like we said, you're not changing anything. It's just, what have you recorded and what have you done and what do things look like and how are they going to calculate that score? So, I mean, you literally just say yes and we'll get it figured out. you know?
Yeah. We handle all that. I mean, it's been, or we've at least tried to make it very, seamless for for the guys that have participated in it, and try to make it to where they have minimal time invested in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing I wanted to point out, and this is another topic for another day, especially with somebody that can explain a lot, hell of a lot better than I can, is the 45Z and what that means for local ethanol plants. It's more on the ethanol plant side of what they can do. So we'll try to get somebody on that can explain that a little better. But there's a lot of big things coming coming down the pipeline that could be pretty big as well with this 45Z that just passed in early July, late June. So we'll get somebody on here that can explain it a little better.
Yeah. Well, no, 45Z. I mean, that is, kind of the new exciting development in this space. And it is, I guess, that's a little bit different because right now the ARVA acres, like guys actually receive a check made out, to them from ARVA versus the 45Z is just a tax credit. So they might not necessarily see a check, but you just do the math on that, and kind of why this is exciting is, kind of the rough numbers they threw out for the ethanol plant. It's like, if you just do the rough math and figured $20 an acre on 200 bushel corn, it's like 10 cents a bushel. Well, this could potentially be, 10 times that amount. So that's what's kind of exciting about it, and definitely don't want to overpromise on that side yet. There's definitely going to be, I guess, stay tuned, because there's definitely going to be a lot more clarity around 45Z and how all ARVA and Nextgen can help capture a lot of those dollars.
Yeah. A lot of that boils down to ethanol plants, if they want to get on board or not.
Right. Yeah. It
so,
is.
I mean, because that's the end user, and that's who's the big. How I don't want to say beneficiary, but that's who it's going to be targeted to. Mm-hmm. And companies like ARVA that partner with Nextgen will help ethanol plants to capture that, I guess, or to help them through that process and make sure everything's good.
Right.
Because most ethanol plants, I mean, they're not in the business. They're not a data entry business, or who at an ethanol plant's going to go to each farmer and say, hey, what did you apply? What is this? I mean, that's not their business, and they're not going to do it. So that's why they recruit somebody like ARVA to help them do that. And that's where we can make this whole thing kind of gel together.
Yeah. Well, and it's a kind of a perfect fit, I think, for us as well, because we have an ethanol plant literally 10 miles down the road. So I mean, definitely some potential there to work with some of the local ethanol plants. And so if you know somebody on a board or of an ethanol plant, tell them to get a hold of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we'll definitely reach out to them too.
Yeah.
We want to just help the local community, and whether that's direct to the farmer or through an ethanol plant, it's still a local business here that's invested in the local community. So
all right, well, I think that kind of wraps everything up on ARVA. I don't think I really have much else to say. Just if you're interested, let us know. You just got to be willing to share data on stuff you're already doing.
Yep, can't get any easier than that. So it'll might be the easiest $20 an acre you've ever made. So
yeah, it really is.
So
besides using Nextgen products.
Yes, yeah. Yes, absolutely. So I guess with that, I think we'll call it a day. So I think we got another one in, and feel free to reach out to Samurai. Also, if you guys have a topic you want discussed on here or something to look into, a certain product, something you want tested, or even just kind of get our opinions on it through the podcast. So that's what we're here for. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, and all our episodes are posted on our website, nextgenfertilizers.com.